People seem to think they know why I'm here. Do you think I've come to give peace on earth?
This edict identifies Jesus of Nazareth as a heretic and a blasphemer.
So I think the difference between Jesus in season 4 versus Jesus in season 3 is that the tension is much greater for season 4. There's a lot more weight on Jesus's human shoulders that we see in season 4. And I think it's because we all know, and Jesus knows exactly where this is heading for the future for season 5. And I think there's the anticipation of what that means to Jesus, to his followers, to the community, to the state, and what the implications are for him.
You Pharisees, you cleanse the outside of a cup and the dish, and then you eat and drink food that goes into a body that inside is full of greed and wickedness.
So season 3 was, "Come to me, you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." And that was Jesus talking to people. Season 4, Jesus is weary and heavy laden. Jesus needs rest. And that's a theme that we explore in season 4, where as we get closer and closer to the end, and we think season 4 is in many ways the beginning of the end because it marks the halfway point, we see Jesus getting increasingly sad and increasingly frustrated. Not just because he's going to die, which we all know, but also because his followers, his enemies, the religious leaders, the city of Jerusalem are not understanding his message. And he knows the reason he has to die. And that is saddening to him. And so I hopefully think that the audience will go through that journey and feel those same things.
I think with respect to Matthew's perspective, he's just trying to understand what's happening around him. So there's just rising tensions amongst the disciples. Like, we're just not in harmony. And then Matthew is just very intuitive, right? So you see Jesus feeling, he's different. His energy is different. You can see he's feeling pressure. And so Matthew is trying to figure out what that is. And he's trying to understand what's going on because there's something happening here. But then within the disciples' dynamic, we're all just trying to get by on a day-to-day basis, but we just can't get on the same page, it seems like.
You see a lot of the differing personalities in the group really struggle to understand the message of Jesus, and there is this sense that we're like losing the rope. The rope's coming out of our hands and we don't quite know how to grasp it. And it is a really, really scary thing for the disciples to feel like it's all getting out of their control.
Yeah, we want to try to feel like we're doing the right thing, but we don't know what we're doing in a way. Mm-hmm. And so it's hard for us to really get a grasp on what's at hand because we don't know what's at stake here. And so that's where I think it becomes really dark and serious.
And not only that, then the rising tensions of the season become literally physical too. It's not just an emotional sense of, are we doing this right? There's danger at hand, and we have to not only sort of protect ourselves as a group, but physically protect ourselves from the threat in the surrounding world.
It's survival.
Yeah.
I guess you're not holding back anymore.
I can't. I'm out of time.
Well, in season 4, the Romans are dealing with Jesus's growing influence. And what that means in practical terms for my character, Quintus, who's a Roman magistrate, is that Jesus is attracting a ton of followers. They're all coming to his city. They're living in tents outside of the city. And they're not doing things like paying taxes, which is sort of the only leg that Quintus had to stand on in terms of his position in the government. So in practical terms, Jesus and his followers are making him poorer and risking his job. So that means that he needs to stop at nothing to get rid of this. No longer is Jesus a distraction for the people. He is now a logistical and governance problem. And the Romans do not take kindly to those sorts of problems. I'm sure that we've all read our history books. We know that they typically killed those people. So that is now on the menu for Quintus. In terms of how that works with the religious structures that are set up in this area, you know, the Pharisees and these other folks are also, they're not happy with Jesus either because he is going against these long-standing traditions. What that means is that there might be some unlikely bedfellows between the Romans and the Jewish leadership. They would never think of allying with each other, but because of this pesky Jesus guy, that's on the table.
I think they can look forward to a holiday celebration, something that we all kind of desire at the end of a rough year. I think the disciples get a little bit of that too this season. I think it's going to be really lovely for them to watch us kind of, let our guard down and, have a little bit of fun, revel a bit.
And also, I feel like there's a bunch of new characters, that I think people are gonna love, or love to hate.
For me, season 4 is the beginning of the end. But I want people to know that it doesn't end with death. The story ends with life, and light, and truth, and hope, and love.